and Tourism meeting on April 11th at 4:45 to order. Let the record show that all committee members plus County Board Chairman David Bartlett are in attendance and many visitors, which we will introduce and hear from later. So welcome, everybody. You've had a chance to look at the minutes from the March 7th meeting. Are there any corrections or additions or approval? I'd entertain a motion for approval of the March 7th CRNT meeting, moved by Quinn, seconded by Vogel. Any questions or discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. The minutes are approved. Michelle, any public comments? Thank you at this time. Well, staff, I have asked Tammy Simon, who is the Chamber Tourism Director, to be on early because she has another business after hours meeting she must attend. And so I think we need to hear from the Chamber tourism people every month as they work very closely with the tourism here that we have that Supervisor Zons is working on. So we want to hear from you at this point. Tammy Simon, can you update us on what's going on with you at the Chamber Tourism? Tammy Simon.
I sure can. First of all, it's super exciting to see everybody in person. I wish I could have been there tonight. It's like the first meeting ever that we're in person again, so we love it. Couple things. I'm going to go really fast and do a rundown, and you guys can ask questions all you want. But one of the biggest things we're doing right now in the tourism department is we've made some changes to how we do our digital advertising. And without going into detail, I'm sure we've ended up actually setting some records for the Chamber tourism site. So we are actually partnering with some of our local visitor centers and kind of working with them on how to and the nitty gritty on getting that digital advertising done through Google and through Facebook so that we're actually getting results that we wanted. Just a quick tidbit, we were paying an outside service to do this. And we were paying about, when I came onto the position, we were paying about $10 to $11 per click, which I thought was a exorbitant price for us to be paying per click. Quickly made some changes, and we are now down to about 91 cents a click, which is industry standard. So we're making some changes, hoping that to see some more results on those websites. As a result of the increased traffic on our website, we do have to make a few changes to it, and we're in the process, and that should be done early June. So a couple other things we've been working on. I have been working on several committees with groups at University of Wisconsin Stout, and I'm working with her on an event coming up next Thursday. She was in a call with me the other day, and then I'm also working with Homecoming, and then a weekend they're calling Stout Proud to kind of get a little bit more involvement and possibly some hotel stays overnight through some of the activities that we're doing. Hotel occupancy, we're excited to say, is back above the 2019 rate. So year-to-date 2019 at the end of March, we were about 3% higher than we were year-to-date. I'm sorry, year-to-date this year, we were about 3% higher than 2019, which was actually a record-breaking year for the tourism in Wisconsin. And so we're above what we were. So I'm kind of excited to report that. Mostly it's because people can actually get back out, and I think people are running out the door to be able to participate in things. So we're glad to see that. I've also been working, actually going to conferences. I went to the Chippewa Valley Rally, and for those that don't know, that's a advocacy program through the Chamber. And as the tourism manager, I did get to go down and lobby with some of our representatives on what the collaborative chambers are looking for. That was a very great experience, honestly, because it's a part of government that we are very involved in, and I got to kind of get a glimpse of that. And then I went to WIGCOT, which is the Wisconsin Governor's Conference on Tourism, earlier this month. That was fantastic. And then I went to Circle Wisconsin, which is a new show that I kind of found, and it actually gave me the opportunity to sit down with 50 tour guide operators from around the region and kind of present to each and every one of them. It was kind of like a speed dating exercise. They sat there and we got to go from person to person and talk to them about why they should bring a tour bus to Menominee. So we mentioned a lot of the Mabel Tainer and the new Ellsworth cheese and in the downtown and some of the breweries. And so we got a lot of people kind of at least hearing about Menominee. And I probably had 10 leads that wanted to have me make up an itinerary so they could possibly bring a group here. So two last things. I'm having a tourism gathering next Wednesday. It is at the Rossbach Museum. This is for anybody involved in tourism in the city of Menominee or surrounding the city of Menominee. The purpose of this is to really let people understand what we do for tourism, how we spend our dollars, and do some roundtable discussions on what we can do differently. So if you're interested in attending that, reach out. I can get you a link to come. It's from 3:30 to 5 at the museum. And we will have refreshments and hors d'oeuvres and good things there for you to try out, but also kind of be able to network with the people who have something to do with tourism in Menominee. So my sole purpose right now is to make sure we're communicating correctly and partnering with people. And that is, I'm hoping we'll be able to kind of open the doors to some relationships that we've really been working on, and maybe just need a little bit more information and communication. So, and then lastly, I just want to congratulate Jim. This is your last county board meeting, isn't it? But also we have selected Jim to receive the Friend of Tourism Award from the Chamber this year. So we are very excited. We're very thankful for the things that Jim has done. I've been able to work with Jim in several capacities long ago and current today. So it was good to kind of come back around and work with him for a little bit, but we're super excited about that. So does anybody have any questions?
Thank you, Tammy. Any committee members or anybody have a question of Tammy before she runs? Well, I don't have a question, Tammy, but I wanna thank you. You've been a busy woman and you've gone to some of those tourism conferences. I've been to a few of those too, and they are awesome. They're well worth the time. And I will be at the museum too to see you there. Some awesome events coming up and many more. So Tammy, we know you have to run. You'll get to your business after hours. That's at Marketplace now today, isn't it?
It sure is.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Tammy, and best wishes. And I hope you'll stay in contact with us. And as you know, Supervisor Zonshire is working very hard with our county rural tourism. And I know you will continue to work hard together. And I might not be on the county board, but I'm still be interested. Okay. Thank you,
You
Tammy.
bet. Thanks, Jim.
I want to thank Tammy also. I saw her out at the distribution center for their grand opening, and we talked about 4-H from years ago, right?
Many years ago, but yes, actually that's where I first met Jim, was when I was in 4-H. So it's been a long time to bring everything back full circle. So
Good deal. Thank you.
Yes, thank you from all of us, Tammy, and we're glad you were able to participate. We will excuse you now and have a good business after hours. We'll see you later, okay? Thank you,
Thank you.
Tammy. All right, moving on. I want to say, Catherine, thank you for bringing as many of our Dunn County specialist educators here to this meeting. Before I say anything, you know where I come from. Larry Bjork knows it too, you know, being raised on a farm in 4-H for all my life. And even when I don't know if any of you know this, between my junior and senior year in college, I was a interim 4-H agent in LeSueur County, Minnesota. Yeah, and I had that experience of working with the 4-H kids in that county all summer and then taking them to the Minnesota State Fair. And that's always over Labor Day, and then rushing off to college for my senior year. And I'll never forget that experience, but 4-H was a great experience. So Catherine, do you want to take over here or what's your plan? But thank you. Okay, Catherine Emmanuel.
Well, good evening and great to see you all. And thank you, Supervisor Anderson, for that introduction. I would like to transfer your kudos from me to Michelle, who is our resident day-to-day leader in the office. And she helped to coordinate and make sure that everybody was either able to join in person or to share a video, as Michelle will be sharing out. So I think just what I'll share just for my area extension director update is that the biggest thing is that we have presentation ready to go for the next CRTC committee meeting so that we can help orientate anybody who might be new and give them kind of a running start on who we are, where we've been, where we're going, and just to start building that relationship. So the other piece is that we are still working on our human development and relationships educator position. We have 5 applicants, and we'll be moving forward with that process. So we will definitely keep you posted when we get ready to the interview stage for the final. With that, I would love to just pass the baton, and Michelle, do you have a preference for order or? Okay, we're gonna go to Katie virtually. She's pre-recorded a message, and for anybody who may be watching from home or catching an archive of this, Katie is our agriculture educator. She does have a focus on farm financial management and is one of our leaders in the state on this educational content. And so I will pass it over to Katie virtually.
Good afternoon, CR&T committee. I'm sorry that I'm not able to join you this afternoon, but thank you, Chair Anderson, for allowing me an opportunity to share some progress on some of the programming that I've been doing recently. As you know, I've been working on transitioning our written curriculum for farm financial management into online and online course, as well as updated print options. On our farms.extension.wisc.edu, you can see under programs where we have Farm Pulse. Here is where you'll find where we recently did a webinar series back in January that featured this information for the farm financial management. You'll find related articles all in this series. And if we go to the first article of developing a farm financial management, you'll see that the articles on all this whole series are not only available in English, but also Spanish and Hmong. This introductory article, Developing a Farm Financial Model, has been viewed over 1,500 times, and the fact sheet, the print version of this article, has been downloaded over 50 times. This article also includes our extension Excel spreadsheet for our farm financial analysis tool, as well as a trend analysis tool that are also available for download. And here is our financial model. And in our, not only the articles, but also the videos that accompany this, we have featuring records, collecting and organizing an accounting system that transition into management reports where the farmers are able to organize, analyze, and report on all using these financial statements of a balance sheet, income statement, statement of cash flows, and statement of owner equity. And then looking at going through the decision-making process of planning as well as budgeting. Like I mentioned, all of these articles now have accompanying videos that are posted to YouTube under the University of Wisconsin Extension's website and playlist. So they're all available. In our series, there's 8 of them total. And thanks to Extension Risk Management Education funding, we have been working with instructional designers to make sure that this course is accessible and available for all through UW's Canvas, our online learning management software. So here, I'll show you just a sample of the Canvas course. We take those videos that are available on YouTube and embed them into the course. They are interactive, so as the learner is watching these videos, they will get to a point where they're asked different questions throughout to ensure that they're learning as they're watching this course. After they complete the video, then they move on. There's different sections that are reading only, videos, but they're also knowledge checks so that we are ensuring that they're learning as they're going. These knowledge checks utilize the software H5P and ask them to list which option is best, to drag and sort, to complete this different option Again, so we're seeing what the learners are doing and learning as we go throughout the course. We're hoping to have this course finalized and peer reviewed here this spring, with anticipating a pilot of farmers in the summer, of course, in between planting and tillage of their different crops. So that is one of the projects that I have been working on for the past 2 years. Thank you, CRT committee, and especially Chair Anderson, as you complete your term on the committee. Appreciate your support of extension, as well as myself in this agricultural agent position. Thank you again, and wish you luck in whatever future endeavors that you pursue. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you, Katie. Any questions from the committee of Katie or anything? Yes, Catherine, I have a comment too, but go ahead.
Thank you. I certainly don't have a question, but I do want to take an opportunity to highlight when Katie was sharing, we want to make all of these resources accessible. I just want to make sure we don't gloss over. She and some colleagues applied for competitive grant dollars. That it's a very expensive process to vet the entire curriculum to make sure it is fully accessible. We would love to do that with everything, but we can't. And it's an additional value that doesn't come here directly to the county, but it's a competitive process, and she received funds to do it. So it's really incredible. And I just wanted to lift that additional value up.
Thank you, Catherine. When might we know when those grants are accepted or not?
Oh, well, thank you. So she received the grant already.
Oh, it's
and
gotten here.
Yeah,
Okay,
yep.
good.
And then she
Congrats.
used it to apply for
Got it.
all of that. I mean, she made it look so easy.
Yeah.
And I want you to know that there was a lot of work done to secure that. And she did a super great job. And Michelle has helped out a lot as well with video editing. She's our very humble in her contributions, and know that she has self-elected to do professional development and grow her skills around the video editing as well. So she's really great at what she's doing as well.
Yeah. Oh, Catherine, thank you. I'll wait about my comments about Michelle to my ending closing here. Katie, I know that you're as well as all of you extension educators. I printed out today or yesterday your monthly reports, and those are very valuable. And I hope every committee member takes the time to read them. And I know, Katie, yours in particular, when I saw you over at the Eau Claire Farm Show, you were working with the other extension specialists from Eau Claire and Chippewa County. And I know that you're working so much, and I read in the Wisconsin Agriculturalist every month about your advice to people that write in for financial advice, and that goes statewide. That's a great contribution to everybody that is a subscriber to that magazine. So Katie, I compliment you on reaching out to people, not just in Dunn County, but to all of the people in our state. And you do so much. So I again, I ask everybody to read these monthly reports from our specialists. So Katie Wantock, Associate Professor and Agricultural Agent here in Dunn County. Katie, thank you and best wishes. All right, Catherine, who's next?
Hi, I guess that's me. I'm Luisa Gerasimo. I'm the Dunn County 4-H educator, and I don't have a very formal report, and it's awfully hard to follow up. My colleague Katie did such a great job with that. So my job is to help our club leaders with anything that they need. So that's providing support, and I typically answer emails and phone calls all week long. People are trying to find accessing resources or something that they remembered that they had seen before but couldn't remember where to find it, which I think we all suffer with that, knowing that there's a resource and not being able to find it. So I feel like that's been an important part of my job. And then we've been really working through a change now from the COVID period when we weren't meeting to then meeting hybrid and meeting virtually. And now we are really meeting fully in person. And I just wanted to bring you up to date on that our numbers are rising of our 4-H families, still lower than I'd like them to be. We are about to hit the 2-week period where Michelle answers a lot of emails and phone calls. We have a May 1 deadline for the way the database at the fair works. The county fairs database takes information from our 4-H database. So people need to sign up for a project by May 1st. And like many families, people are busy. They won't get around to it until about now. So I think we'll see some numbers climbing up there. We have horses, dogs, shooting sports, and dairy judging are all back and active and meeting in person regularly. A quick update from dairy judging, because I know we've had supervisors ask about that. The dairy judging team, part of them is going to Scotland as had originally been planned for 2020, and they of course couldn't go during COVID. And the other part of the team is going to create their own adventure and visit some dairy industries, I believe in the Southwest in the following summer. So the ones that can travel to Europe are going, and the ones who chose not to go are going to do their own field trip. And so the money that they raised is being used for them to have a trip and to have continuing education in the area of dairy judging. We have a new thing for our camp this summer. We are combining with Clark County, which is new for us. Normally we cooperate with Eau Claire County, and we have been at Beaver Creek. This year we're going to be at Camp Wissota with a new partner, and we got a wild number of counselor applications, 20, which is a lot more than we had last year. So I was very excited to see that. And we are going to be hiring 16 counselors, still looking for a few adult chaperones. We have a nurse, we've hired 2 cooks, and we're currently hiring the lifeguards for that camp, which is on Lake Wissota. And so no busing necessary. We'll be able to do swimming and learn a little bit about canoeing and kayaking there. So we do have applications coming in for that, and expect to have a full camp sometime in May. And our camp dates are June 6th to the 9th. The other thing I'm excited about is our after-school group that has been meeting in this room and in room 60 for several years with the help of Sandy Tarter and Stephanie back in 2018, 19, I don't know, it's all blending together. Help me out here. 2019. We were working with a partner organization, the Eau Claire Area Hmong Mutual Assistance Association, had a youth group, after-school youth group for teens. And that group was looking for a place to meet and looking for some support from Extension. So one year we had 3 of us in Extension working with them. And after a while, it was just me and our partners at ECMA, and that group got really big, and then COVID happened. And so now we're back to picking up those pieces, and we have about 30 active kids in Altoona, Eau Claire, and mostly Menominee schools. And they voted in January to become an official 4-H chartered club for the summer months. So we will be having a unique model here where it'll be an after-school group meeting every Tuesday right now after school. And then in the summer, we haven't decided our meeting schedule yet, but we are going to concentrate on a lot of fun and a lot of 4-H learning and a lot of hands-on and possibly some projects to show either at this fair or the following year. And that work has been, and other work that I've done has been recently honored by an Extension Professional Association. And tomorrow I'll be receiving an award at JSEP, which is our Joint Council of Extension Professionals. So things are going pretty well. I've got some STEM kits that I'm starting to loan out to club leaders. I think we're working on trying to make the business portion of the 4-H meeting a little shorter, and the community building, the belonging, the getting to know you, and the education piece, which is what most people really find value in, a little stronger. And one of those is by loaning things out and letting people get hands-on with their clubs. And the 4-H leaders who are doing that are having really good reaction from the families of really enjoying making something together or doing community projects together. And especially after, a couple years of not getting together, that being together and producing something is very valuable. And the community sense of belonging and the community building, the serving our community piece, that is really very magical. Not like we're getting rid of business meetings, because of course we have to have those, and those are youth led, which is a great learning opportunity as well. So that's what's new in my world, and I'll turn it over to whoever is next. Margaret?
Before we do that, are there questions of the committee?
Tom would know too. You said Camp Wissota, is that Camp Kenwood?
Yes, Kenwood.
Does that have a new name?
That's Kenwood.
It's on Lake Wissota.
Yeah, right.
Camp,
but it is called
that- I was
So
gonna
I might have
clarify
missaid that. So yes, Camp Kenwood on
That's
Lake
Camp
Wissota.
Kenwood.
Yep. And we are very excited about the
Yeah.
facility.
I
I
was
think
gonna
that'll be
clarify that
wonderful.
for you, yes.
Yep, one of my kids went there when it was for the Wisconsin
Yeah.
Farmers Union, and it was really
Yep.
very nicely
That
done.
goes back, what, 60 years
Yeah.
or better?
More than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you for catching. I was gonna clarify that.
Thank you for catching that. Thanks.
Oh, that's great.
Anybody else on the committee? Well, you said you won, congratulations. I want to hear more about this award. You're humble. What's this?
Well, it's so the Joint Council of Extension Professionals is includes as an umbrella organization for a bunch of other organizations, which are professional organizations. And this one was for all of Extension. It's ESP. It's an older organization meant to support us as Extension professionals, both while we're in Extension and also when we retire. And a colleague in a different institute recognized some work that I was doing across Extension, not just for 4-H, but for all of our colleagues about equity and access, which includes working with youth who are sometimes not welcomed in some environments for various reasons. And so I think that recognition feels really good. And I feel very good about the work that I have started a long time ago, sort of paying off across Extension for people who are working with young people and trying to make sure that their needs are served and that they feel comfortable and able to learn in the environment. And that is also a very important part of 4-H, of course, is that sense of being welcomed into a community.
Well, from all of us, congratulations, Louisa. That's important. And for your nice report. We appreciate it. And also for your monthly report. I appreciate getting that. And I did see in there, Tom, when you read that, it says Camp Kenwood and you referred to it as Wissota. And so I was going to clear that. Okay, thank you. Catherine, who is next? Margaret Murphy. Margaret, you're on.
Thank you. Again, just to kind of give you a little background on the horticulture program, I'm the horticulture educator serving 3 counties, including Dunn, Eau Claire, and Chippewa. And our horticulture program, we really focus on supporting the use of environmentally sound horticultural practices. And we do that by doing educational outreach directly with the public as well, or I do directly through to the public, as well as through the Master Gardener volunteers we have in Dunn County as well. Wisconsin, along with many other places, is facing some environmental challenges. Some, for example, would be pollinator decline. That's a global issue. And also environmental pollution, urban, suburban, and other garden areas, yard areas. So horticulture educators, we are really well positioned to preach, if you will, horticultural best practices, which can play a very important role in helping to reduce these issues, both at a local as well as a statewide level. So some of the things I'm doing, I work with a couple of committees at the state level where we're doing educational programming that includes a horticulture course, a 12-week course that we offer every fall now online. And for folks who want to do master classes, learn more about plants and how to care for them using best practices. I also work on the local level. One of the main things I do with my job, particularly this time of year and through the growing season, is I answer yard and garden questions. And we usually get several hundred coming in the summer, not just from the county, I get them from other counties I serve as well. But the nice thing about being able to talk with the public, and the public really does look at Extension as the go-to place for unbiased research-based information when they do have questions about their. So it gives me an opportunity not only to help them through a problem, but also to encourage best practices as well. And we really do preach proper plant selection, basically right plant, right place. Because if you got the right plant in the right place, it not only survives, it thrives. And if the plant's healthy, then there's usually less need for excess watering. You can cut back on that, fertilizing, also any kind of pesticide use, because a healthy plant is really good at defending itself against disease and insects and so forth. So that's one of the main things we talk about. We also deal with invasive species. That is become more and more of an issue throughout Wisconsin, how to remove safely invasive species and then replace that area with perhaps native plantings. If you go with native plantings, we talk about all different types of plantings, but also native plantings, because that's a good way to support your native pollinators and build habitat for them as well. So we also talk about proper pest management. We follow the integrated pest management model, IPM model, which teaches people first learn what your problem is, identify it properly, and then we'll come up with a strategy on how to address it. And sometimes that strategy is a multi-step strategy. Sometimes it includes cultural practices, chemical practices, or no practices at all. Maybe it's something you can't do anything about or really don't have to, or a combination of things. So we do work on proper pest management, which again can lead to less pesticide use, leading to reduced likelihood of environmental pollution of overuse of horticultural chemicals. So one of the things, besides answering yard and garden questions, I also do, in spring, for example, I had a handful of community groups reach out to me for some spring programs that I've been able to give to them in person now, which is so exciting. I'm also And I'm doing one at the end of the month with a group here in Menominee who want to learn more about indoor gardening. They're an older group, and so they do container gardening. So we talk about how can you garden in a smaller space using containers in a good way as well. Also, I have just attended the UW Stout Wellness Fair and was able to share information with the public and the students that came through there. Next week, so we're doing wellness night as well. So we'll be talking about how plants help you and help your community. And then I also am doing a 6-week gardening program with the Boys and Girls Club out at River Heights Elementary. And food-wise, we'll also be out there doing some education as well. So we'll be working with kids, teaching them how to grow some of their own food, as well as, again, instilling best horticultural practices that hopefully they'll take home with them and be gardeners from then on. Another thing that I do is I work very closely with the Dunn County Master Gardeners, who are a group of very experienced, very good gardeners that do work very hard at also supporting these types of initiatives in helping with getting rid of invasive species, increasing pollinator habitat, as well as reducing horticultural pesticide use and so forth. And they have numerous garden projects that deal with invasive species removal. They work a lot with city or public parks to help do that, putting in native plantings. We also work help introduce food theory. And so one thing gardeners can do is grow food. So we do a lot of growing food to donate to pantries. And actually our project, or I should say the Dunn County Master Gardeners, some of them work on the project with the Dunn County Jail. And they've had it for years, and all of it gets donated, all the produce they grow. And in 2021, they donated over 3,400 pounds of produce just to Stepping Stones. And so we're hoping to continue with our outreach and making impacts, again, learning sound gardening practices, which can go a long way when you think of all yards we have out there, all the gardens we have out there, and also to do our bit in increasing native habitats, reducing invasive species, and helping where we can with food security in the area. Thanks.
Questions of Margaret? Well, I've got a few comments, Margaret. Where do I start? Well, first of all, I have 2 grandsons that go to River Heights School, so they're going to have sometime this summer with his pollinators, and we'll see what they might have learned. But your program at the River Heights School is with gardening. I understand that a little different, but that's all right. I'm going to have some fun with them. You are very involved, and I'm right. When Chippewa and Dunn County were looking for a horticulture outreach specialist, Catherine called me or somebody here and asked if I would represent Dunn County on that search, and I appreciate it. I did it. So Laura Altoona, I remember it very well, and we interviewed 3 candidates. And Margaret, I'm so happy and proud that you're hired and you're here, and we did a good job in hiring you. Margaret, which is a land grant university in the state of Iowa. It's not the University of Iowa, it's Iowa State. And that would be kind of, we consider it your land grant. That's why you would get this background. And we always kind of kid each other between land grant university. Like Iowa might be the land grant university, but it isn't. It's Iowa State. So Margaret, I just had to throw that in. So thank you. Again, an excellent report, and we can read that on what you send to us too. And I would only say to all of you, thank you for very valuable, and for bringing that to us today. Best wishes. So Catherine, are we ready for Sandy now? Okay.
Hello, everyone. Sandy Tarter, the Food Wise Coordinator for Dunn, Chippewa, and Eau Claire counties. Educators. We have 3. As you know, we've had our budget struggles, of course, over the years, and we lost our Dunn County nutrition educator, Karen Fritz, who was stationed here. When she retired, we could not replace that position. But I think we've done a really good job of all of our educators. So Nancy Fassner in Chippewa, Pamela Warren Armstrong was in Eau Claire, right, and Joy Weisner. So we've kept up all of our Dunn County teaching, which is super important. And right now I'm in FY23, so I do all the planning for our next year's work. I'm neck deep in that right now. But our programming is going strong. So of course, you know, in the fall, we have lots of programming with our schools, our River Heights program, our Head Start programs. And then, of course, the beautiful time that all that coming in before the cold starts and the winter snap starts. So our schools are in the fall. We've been with Stepping Stones. They haven't gone back to in person yet, but we will as soon as they kind of get that back together. We've been doing virtual. And as you know, Nancy did 3 videos of utilizing their clients. So when we're able to, we'll go back to in person at Stepping Stones Food Pantry. I'm due to meet with them next week. So we still are in touch. We still plan to help them out whenever possible. Not only teaching, but in terms of policy and systems. And so I'm here to kind of talk about nutrition policy, food safety policy. We have toolkits that can help any food pantry do that. So I work with them on that. We continue with workforce resource here at Dunn County. We're still doing virtual in that we invite the Dunn County clients into virtual classroom and with our other Eau Claire and our Chippewa clients. So we'll go back in person probably in the fall for that. This is food share employment training. So any able-bodied person who is of like 20 to 49, I believe, who does not join they do have requirements. In order to get food share, they have requirements to do training. So it's employment training. It's in our, I guess, stretching food dollars can be considered part of that training. So we'll go back to in person probably in the fall is when that'll happen. Yes, continues offering virtual WIC classes for our parents of young children. And we are now setting up the summer in person at the farmers market. So we invite our WIC families to come down to the farmers market so we can share about utilizing their, not only their food share benefits, but the EBT system there, but also their summer farm, well, it's a WIC farmers market vouchers. So we do that in person. So we're planning that right now. Strong Bodies, we continue the virtual. We were at the Shirley Doan Center last fall. We'll offer that again. They have a series of Strong Bodies classes there, probably once a year ongoing. And we did a bridges, building bridges. So Joy and Jael are a new educator. Jael Martinez-Wolf, unfortunately, I'm on video, but we're really excited to have her. She's brings good energy and she speaks Spanish, which is nice. So we helped out with building bridges in Eau Claire the other week. And it was, I have to tell this story. So we were in a 3rd grade classroom in Eau Claire. I don't know if Joy and Jael, and this is just a cute story with this little guy. We're talking about healthy snacks, of course, as we usually do. And in my little area, I said, okay, share with me your healthy snacks. And this little guy, he said, well, I really enjoy watermelon with tahini. And tahini, and I was thinking, okay, what do I know about tahini? I'm like, tajine, like T-A-G-I-N-E, that's kind of an Indian. And I said, tahini. He's, yeah, tahini. And I'm thinking, tahini. Like, I'm trying to process this because it's not familiar to me. And I said, well, I'm sorry, I don't know. Thank you for sharing. And I came around. And so I told her, I said, my friend here shared with me a new idea using tahini. Well, it's a very common spice used on fruit in Hispanic cultures. So she right away, he recognized it. She would know that. And then he flipped his guy. She looked at it. So he said, watermelon, corn, tahini. So I was just so happy that he connected with her. And he, so it was just, just such a good example of how we can connect. So yeah, it was a really fun class. And what else? Boys and Girls Club coming up this summer. And then the work I do with Health Done Right, Chronic Disease Prevention. So I'm chair of that action team under Health Done Right. So I'm just so thrilled. I think I put in my letter that we got $2,000 commercial clinic, got mail health systems. We're good to go for the summer. I'm really thrilled about that. So we'll definitely outreach to more food share participants and make sure they get a match. So what they purchase up to $10 a week, we'll give them an extra 10 tokens. So they're getting 20 tokens to buy the produce. That's really exciting. So I continue on with that. And then also our grant through that action team, we got a grant for the story walk in the library. I don't know if you've seen that, but so it's a outdoor walking where you walk along and you can read the pages of the book. So families can, as they're walking, they'll get the story and read the story, and that changes, that will change. But I think we're going to have kind of an open house in May, the end of May, but the library kind of now runs that. And so, but that action team kind of started that grant and started that going. So I'm really proud of that. So that's lots of money for our next year, and hopefully our budget is somewhat stable. So not too many changes is my goal. So that's it.
Well, Sandy, just remind everybody, Sandy is the food-wise coordinator working with the other, what we call food-wise educators.
Right,
And you did talk about those. So Sandy has to work in Eau Claire, Chippewa County, and Dunn County. So Sandy, that was a great report. Anybody have questions? Anybody? Again, your report was very good because I was waiting for you to talk about those grants that you received. Congratulations. That's always neat, and obviously about that. And what you're doing with everybody and working with, with our other extension educators. We all like to see that, cooperative effort. Way back when I started, it was called University was Cooperative Extension. That's a long time ago. Right, Larry?
Catherine,
Question.
well, just for down here, and Louisa, this bird flu epidemic that's now big time. I mean, that's after 45 entries, and my 30 seconds of soapbox is poultry was the first commodity that went megatized, and now they're wondering how to kill a couple million chickens and what to do with the carcasses. So, that's going to probably affect fair projects if there's, poultry, but just, I hope I got the up on it, but it's, it's, and then the real thing is the family that goes to buy a dozen of eggs instead of costing 99 cents. What are they, $3 now for a dozen?
Yeah, Larry, that was in this morning's Eau Claire, was it yesterday? It's today, Monday. Eau Claire leader about the first case in Barron County over the bird virus, right? Yeah, that's scary. That is indeed scary. Thanks you for that comment, Larry.
I just want to dialogue a little bit, if that's okay, to maybe assure you that Extension is taking that very seriously. I did receive a report last week from the public health director in another county, and so I shared that immediately with all of our agriculture educators and our 4-H educators so that they had that on the horizon. In the meantime, the state meaning Extension and all of our programming has reached out specifically with 4-H educators because we know that is an important part of the program. So it's on our radar, and with the case identified in Barron, we can't say, well, this is somewhere else in Wisconsin. It's pretty close. So thank you for that, and we will definitely be monitoring that as best we can.
It's one thing for kids. It's one thing for kids to bring a breeding female sow or gilt to the fair, and it has to go to the locker plant because you can't go mingle and you can't go home. Well, you can't even probably have a chicken on the grounds because, how do you say to a kid, say, we're going to now sack up your grand champion blue ribbon bird, take it to a better place. It's
Thank you, Larry, for bringing that up. Catherine, who's next? I know you want to call her Michelle at this point, or because we have a lot to talk about with her. Go ahead. Michelle.
Oh, well, thank you. She was not planning on sharing, so she puts out that response. I'll just share just a little bit about this tahini. It's a spicy chili lime seasoning. It is delicious. And I went to Disneyland over spring break with my daughter, and they have this very famous frozen yogurt. I had it for over 10 years, and what did they have? Little packets of tahini. And it was, I started smelling my voice. I said, Disneyland's expensive enough. So I'll refund myself 94 cents. So. But anyway, that's so cool. Just having a connection and so that cultural, just trust building, it's really special. Thank you for sharing. Michelle.
All right. I have noticed that the owl does like me. If you haven't seen it, keeps bringing me up on the screen. So I guess I meant to share today. A little bit that I'm working on. Like we mentioned, quite a few 4-H things going on. So preparing for those, marketing registrations, dealing with everything in the 4-H online system. And then with Katie, we wrapped up those videos for her curriculum. She's got a module coming up that we'll be doing. She will record, and then I will edit and do the closed captioning for those videos as well. And I do edit Katie's podcast, where she does about 2 a month, and then do transcriptions for those. Because of everything I've been doing with video editing, this poor little laptop has been having some struggles. So I have worked with IT, and I will be getting an upgrade. So I will have a little stronger, better powered machine to make sure. So this will get me down. It's not going away. And then working with Margaret and Sandy, getting whatever the educators need. I'm here to support them, as well as managing the office on day to day. So.
Michelle, at the end of this meeting, before we adjourn, I have some, if you look at the agenda, there's it says closing comments from me, so you'll hear more from me about that then. A couple other things. I don't know, Catherine, if everybody knows, was it a week ago Friday, when Stephanie was here for her last day, and I was able to get away, and I came and, what a talent. Stephanie and I go back to the times when we were trying to just get broadband going, and she was very instrumental in helping us, along with Addison Vang, who is now back with us here in Extension. Stephanie, I remember when she looked beautiful and she's ready to go up to San Diego. I said, wow. I asked her if I could go along and she said, no way. But anyway, we missed those two, or Stephanie very much. She was a great. And Addison Vang is, we're glad to have him back. Did I miss anybody, Catherine?
Nope, I think you got it. And Addison is on a multi-week personal vacation, which
Okay.
we highly support. He got to agree to me. So when you see him next, you'll have to ask him for pictures and stories.
Okay, thank you, Catherine, and to each one of you. Thank you for all your hard work. And we will be staying in touch, and especially Tony, thank you for your good report. And Catherine, thank you very much. Moving on in the agenda. At this particular point, then, we've heard from our extension. I don't know if our Dunn County Economic Development Corporation Executive Bob is on or not. He's not, so we'll move right on. Okay, we have no items for to take up other than we want an update from our rural tourism, and I think you'll have an update every month from now on. That'll be up to Supervisors, but I know you've done a lot, and I'm very proud of the work you've done. So I'm going to ask Jim if he'll update us a little bit about the rural tourism webpage update. Jim.
Thank you, Chairman Anderson. Actually, since the last time I presented, we're still talking with Dave, the developer. He's been getting a few submissions of information, but not as much as he would like. So again, during this meeting, I kind of put the call out there for people to submit information, especially some of the outlying areas, whether it's people involved in various communities, outlying areas that are involved in other areas. I did have a good conversation with somebody that's involved with planning originally about making regular submissions as far as events and things happening in the original area, because again, it's really trying to use the site to promote some of the further reaches of Dunn County as opposed to what everybody thinks about as being, and close by. So that was kind of encouraging, and I kind of put her in touch with Dave, and that's one of the other things that we'll have on the site this week is a submission form so that people can submit and kind of put on the mailing list. In talking with Dave, the developer, we kind of feel that it's kind of this slow process to kind of get it going, and then once people kind of get into the habit and realize that this is a way to share the information about what's going on, a regular habit, just like they may have submitted information to the Dunn County News once upon a time, and now with really no local outlet source for that information, this site has the chance to really be that go-to spot. Dunn County. So we'll have another, hopefully more information to share by next month.
Jim, I thank you. I know that each month this committee, whoever the CRT committee is, I just want to make sure you bring the information so it can be updated, and that's the key. You know, when you print something, Jim, I'm right here, I hope, when you print something and hand it out or wherever, it becomes obsolete shortly, outdated, I should say. And this way, when more and more people are going on the webpage or to find out what's going on in Dunn County. And I had that experience myself. I have friends coming from Michigan to go to a wedding here at Whispering Emerald Ridge. I know where it is. I know where it is, but I've never been there. I thought, and here's this friend of mine from Michigan, he and his wife are coming over here and they want to know where it was. And so I had to go back myself and do some research to find out more about Whispering Emerald. That's what it's going to be. We have a lot of event barns in Dunn County. We have a lot of different things going on. Those of us that lived here a long time sometimes don't even know. I've talked to people once in a while that never been to Devil's Punch Bowl, and it's hard for me to believe that. Hard for me to believe it, and Larry, and you've lived here all your life too, and many of us, not all my life, but most of it. We got a lot of things going on in Dunn County. And Jim, you know, this is a great thing. I thank you for what you're doing, and you need to budget this next year for the expense. Are you starting to work on that? What amount of money we might be looking forward to budget?
Well, we'll
get going next year.
Yeah, because we'll get closer to that as right now. There's not a lot of submissions or any of that kind of stuff. Once that starts kind of rolling, Dave can have a better feel for how much of that time is going to take from him. So,
well, that's important. I don't expect when we first start talking it's going to be a huge amount of money, certainly cheaper than printing out a lot of documents and getting them up. I hope we'll continue to support and work hard for this tourism thing. Any questions of Supervisors on this question? Yes, Louisa.
Supervisor Johns, I just wanted to ask, is this the something I have to in my newsletters for 2 months, asking for 4-H photographers to submit photos? Has anybody submitted anything? Okay. It's like, you put the call out, you never know if people actually answer, but I'll continue to put that out. And I think it would be nice, Michelle reminded me, let's put a link in our Facebook about go drive some traffic.
Because maybe now too, like you said, as things are starting to kind of ramp up with the clubs right now, and people are thinking about the fair, maybe they're going to be thinking about doing some of that photography and some of that information. So
let's leave some more people talking more about it, as I mentioned. So we will keep pushing that. And Larry, I know you had asked about the photos too, and we have a lot of photographers. That's probably one of our most popular projects. Art and the animals are very popular, and I think photography is like they're taking pictures of their animals.
Well, and that could be the thing too. It can be some of the 4-H members who maybe aren't going to be competing in that and aren't considering that they're a big draw, but they're particularly proud of animals that they have, or just where they are on the farm and that type of thing. So it's pretty much open to any type of photography.
All right, I know we can continue each month with this discussion, Jim, so thank you for this update, and I appreciate we've come a long way. So we started talking about this quite a few years ago, didn't we? We put the T back in the CR&T of this committee, and I think we're doing that. So now it's not only just community resources, but it's community resources and tourism. Thank you. Folks, we're coming down to the end of our agenda. The next meeting I can't announce. Ordinarily would be May 9th, but I put tentative down. We would just wait and see how that goes after next Tuesday. And at the county board next Tuesday, as you all know, that will be kind of the reorganization, and new committees will all be appointed, and you'll have a new chairperson at that particular time. I'd like to make. I'm going to start with the 4-H judging team, Louisa. We're very disappointed that this group that was coached by Jim Powers and Scott Nelson were never able to fully participate as it was supposed to be in Scotland. And so, because of COVID, we're not able to make that trip, as Louisa said. However, I want to name these people: Ben Steyer, Abby Powers, and one time they brought in another person from Polk County. But these young 4-Hers really worked hard, and the coaches worked extra hard, and they made this work, and they put Dunn County on the map, and I just can't stop without congratulating them again. Moving on, I want to individually point out to each one of you my county board supervisors. But I'm going to start with Chairman Bartlett. Dave, I'm going to say this. Thank you. You've been an awesome county board chair, and you have made my job a pleasure. And I will forever be grateful for your leadership, for your confidence in being a chairman of me, and you are going to be greatly missed. Thank you, Chairman Bartlett, for making Dunn County a better place to live. We were all grateful for that, Chairman Bartlett. Thank you very much. And I know you better, and you always come to me well prepared. You've done your homework. You always ask excellent questions, and I think, wow, you are the scholar of this group. You are, and thank you for always bringing questions to us, and you are much appreciated. It's been a delight to get to know you. I finally we can have a face-to-face meeting. I can look at you and say thank you, Ann. All right, moving on, Larry Bjork. I don't know how long we've known each other. Maybe he was a 4-H'er when I first came to Dunn County, and that was back when I was an ag teacher in Colfax, and then things happened here at the Dunn County Extension Office, and when our county agent passed away, a farm management specialist, and I had the pleasure of coming to Dunn County as an ag farm management specialist, and I got to know even UW Madison Extension even better. That's always been deep in my heart, and I worked for Father in that area, and with Larry again when you were here. We won't go all the way back, Larry, but it's been some good times. And never mind. Now he brought me a cake. I don't know what's in there. Maybe firecrackers.
Those judging kind of you hit the healthcare center, you hit the Yorks for the Brown Swift,
Yep.
and
Ayrshires, Mabes,
and David and his guys.
Guys were jerseys.
Yep, and
See?
just go around and go. And, there's a lot of grass and a lot of cows.
Well, Larry, you're right, and all those farms, we had to get all the breeds, and so we had to go to these farms and work with our 4-H. But we weren't quite as successful as Jim Powers and Scott Nelson. But again, we have worked together and known each other for many years, and I look forward to continue to see a lot. Thank you for. I'm afraid to open this cake here. There might be firecrackers in there or something. But and you, my friend Tom Quinn, as you know, the chairman of this committee is on the PRD committee that Tom Quinn chairs, and Tom Quinn is chairman of the PRD committee. Serves on the CRT committee, so we serve on this committee together. I suppose bring some expertise from land conservation or agriculture, and I'm not sure I've done that very well, Tom, but I've learned a lot lately on your committee, and you bring a lot to us, Tom. Anyway, I want you to know how much I appreciate all you've done and your help with us on broadband, your help with us on everything you've done. Much appreciated, and continue best wishes to you, Tom. And to you, my friend Jim Zons, Jim gave me a little bit of a problem because I'm on Facebook lately, and he's on Facebook, and I see where he goes all the time, and then I see what he's doing, and he can't hide it. But Jim, you have been another good places recently on Madison. I know streets all over familiar with you. Yeah, the Orpheum. Yeah, awesome places. Been there many times, yeah. But Jim, seriously, for our times together, not only on this committee, but on the county board and everything, you brought us much, and I know you will continue to on this committee. So to this committee, you've made my term as chairman of the CR a pleasure. So to each one of you, I reach out to say thank you very much. To extension staff, I purposely kept Michelle to the end because I have a lot to say about her. And to all of you, I've kind of expressed my appreciation to each one of you. But Michelle, to you, I don't know where to start. When I started this, the county clerk was the secretary of CRT. And when she left to go to Woodville, Michelle stepped right up to the plate, and we never missed a beat because of you, Michelle. And I've probably been lost without you, and you always did. Every time I call Michelle, she was ready, got it done, gave me good advice. Well, maybe I could tell. Well, maybe. Thank you, you're honest. And because of you, I think we had good success. And you have been more than just a secretary for this to me. You've done, I can't find the words. So to you, Michelle, very, very special. Thank you, and best wishes. I would be a little remiss at this point if I didn't finally say that every meeting we have, we talked earlier about how do we get the word out. And I'm going to reach out right now because if you need a copy nowadays about what goes on about your committee, Tom, or my committee, or any other committees, administration, any other committees, you can read it in the Tribune Press Reporter out of Glenwood City. Because Leanne, Ralph, has an excellent reporter. And she always reports very well on what this committee has doing and has done. And if you can't get to a meeting, you can read it in this paper. And I've never found a time that her reporting has not been correct. It's always been accurate, to the point, and very, very educable to the public. So I wanted to reach out especially today to say a special thank you to Leanne Ralph and her paper that she's reporting, because we don't have any other hard copy right now in Dunn County, at least not that I'm aware of. And so now it's time for me to close this meeting. I told Michelle earlier, it's probably the toughest meeting I've had to close because I'm sure I've forgotten some things. I look around at all of you, and I'll miss you. I know you will continue doing the task that the Community Resources and Tourism has in front of you. And it's important that we continue this and continue to reach out to all of our citizens in the county. Zoom meetings this last year were not what any of us wanted. But had we not had Zoom meetings, what would we have done? What would we have done? So I want to thank our IT people very much for setting up meetings so we'd have them on Zoom. We could sit at home and we could still have a meaningful meeting. But at least this last meeting, County Board Chairman Bartlett, we were able to meet again together as supervisors. We were able to meet here tonight as the CRT committee. And I'll be meeting with your committee tomorrow, Tom, face to face. Then I'll have one more meeting on Wednesday, which is executive committee, face to face. Then I'll hand in my hardware and I'll say thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, now before I close and the meeting, I'm just going to say again to each one of you, best wishes. The meeting is adjourned.